My name's Sheree McCormick. I'm a research associate here at MMU. I completed my PhD about 4 months ago, and it was in the field of cognitive psychology. I found it was very helpful at the start of the Viva. The chair introduced everybody in the room and also explained the order of events of the afternoon. Also, my DOS was in the examination with me, but he was sat behind me, so even though there was no eye contact there, I did feel probably more secure having him in the room.
Our role this afternoon is to explore your thesis with you. We're charged with coming to a judgment about whether you should be awarded the degree. And the good news is that, based on your thesis, your examiners are very pleased with what they've read. It's a well-written thesis, makes a good contribution to the body of knowledge, so we don't have any particular concerns about the written piece of work we're looking at, and through the Viva we'll be exploring some of those areas with you, some of those out of interest, some of them to explore bits of detail that your examiners have particular interests in. So our journey will take us through the thesis, particularly focused on the experimental aspects of what you've done, but we'll pick up on some of the whys and the wherefores of that as well as we trundle through. The discussion we hope it will be is one that we should just naturally flow. So once we get rolling, your examiners will just ask questions, and my job as chair is just to make sure we finish in good time. I will be scribbling some notes as we go along. Don't be put off by the fact that I'm writing stuff. It's for our benefit. We have to compile a report at the end of the process, so don't worry if you see me writing stuff down. It means nothing other than I've got a bad memory and I need to write things down to recall what's happened.
Overall, the questioning I felt was very fair. The chair asked me to explain my thesis in generic terms right at the beginning of the examination, and that really put me at ease, if you like. And then the order of questions followed the order of the thesis, so there was a logical progression through the examination. If you don't know an answer, you're better off to explain to the examiners that you don't know and to give a reason why you don't know. So it could be that research hasn't actually addressed that particular question at this point in time. It could be that that question is slightly outside your subject area. But whatever the answer, validate the reason why you don't know, and I think that's acceptable.
The other issue that I have probably, and I'm unsure at the moment where I stand with it, but it certainly is on a number of my studies to come out of the thesis.
There were some questions in which I disagreed with the examiner, or I had a different point of view. And it was important at that time to just take some time out before answering the question to make sure I'd got an answer that I was comfortable delivering. And also to get an answer that demonstrated I had full command of my subject area, so that I knew the latest, or I knew the boundaries of my subject area, and there were reasons behind my opposing point of view.
So don't you think you have to kind of go with the science on it? I mean, that's not unknown.
You're true for action execution, but the literature on scene viewing, on observation and motor imagery, people have used a much larger fixation duration.
I think it's important to pick up on any questions that the examiner might ask you, and to identify opportunities to expand on your answers or to lead the conversation into new areas that you feel very comfortable with, but at the same time you're still answering the question. And this will also give you an opportunity to perhaps engage both of the examiners in a conversation and even ask the examiners their opinions on some of the topics that you're talking about.
On that note, there is some research I came across from Mark Wilson's group by Simon Fine again, really interesting, just to draw out that point.
The real final question, because I always ask this one at the end of Viva. Is there anything about your thesis that you really desperately wanted to tell us in Viva that we haven't given you the opportunity to do? Or have we explored the areas that you would have liked us to have explored? So are there any nuggets that you think we should have talked about that we haven't?
I guess not. I mean, if we were to drill into all of the studies, there is so much now, as I said earlier, in the last week or 2 weeks. I mean, all of the pink and blue here are all study ideas now taken forward out of this scratch pad. So this now isn't a finished document.
So some final tips. Probably make sure that you eat a good meal before the examination. I remember feeling a profound sense of tiredness about 2 to 3 hours into my Viva. And then if you can, as difficult as it might seem, really do try to enjoy the process, because you're explaining a journey that you should have an awful lot of pride in, and it is really the only opportunity you get to explain how positive your experiences have been.
Doctor of Philosophy, Sheree McCormick.